With so much history, it's not surprising the northern neck of Virginia has so many museums. If you haven't visited any of them, here are 5 museums that should be on your list. The Steamboat Era Museum in Irvington is a good place to start. It is one of the few museums in the Chesapeake Bay region to be focused entirely on the period between 1813 and 1962, when steamboats moved people in Virginia and Maryland between big cities and small towns. When roads and bridges were few and far between, it was one of the only ways to travel and move agricultural goods to market. Stratford Hall near Montrose in Westmoreland County is not technically a museum, but offers many of the things you would find in a museum. Built in the mid-18th century, it was the home of the Lee family, including 2 signers of the Declaration of Independence. The Lee family Great House is interpreted as a historic house museum furnished with period objects and open for audio tours. The visitor center includes exhibits on the Lees, enslaved people, West African and Native American material culture, and archaeological artifacts. The grounds are open daily for walking, viewing outbuildings and gardens, and enjoying Potomac River vistas. A.T. Johnson High School, just outside Montrose, was built in 1937 as one of the first high schools for students of African descent in the Northern Neck. Saved from the wrecking ball by a group of dedicated alumni, A.T. Johnson High School opened as a museum in the year 2000, preserving the story of a resilient community's determination to overcome opposition and provide a better future for its children. Besides the many photos that adorn the walls, visitors to the A.T. Johnson High School Museum can view artifacts and see classrooms as they existed when enthusiastic students embraced the educational opportunities their elders had provided, often at great sacrifice. The Mary Ball Washington Museum and Library in Lancaster, named for the mother of George Washington, who was born nearby, got its start from the desire to preserve local history. Members of the Lancaster County Women's Club rallied to preserve the old Lancaster Court Building, the old clerk's office built in 1797, and the old jail, whose original section dates from 1821. Together with Lancaster House, dating from 1830, and the Stuart Blakemore Library across the street, the complex of buildings makes up the museum, whose mission is to preserve the history of the Northern Neck and its families. The museum's buildings and grounds are accessible through a self-guided walking tour. Finally, a stop at the Morattico Waterfront Museum in Lancaster County provides a trip back in time, when the village of Morattico was a tiny but thriving waterman community. The museum is housed in what was once the general store, the center of life in the community.
For all of my life, the store was owned by Brian and Margaret Johnson, and Brian really took the store to another level in terms of inventory and stock. It was everything in the store. There was a pot-bellied coal stove that stood where this stove is now. There was always a bucket of coal. That was the only coal in Morattico. We didn't even know what coal was.
Located miles from a main thoroughfare, Morattico depended on the river for transportation as well as its livelihood. The general store equipped its inhabitants with food, clothing, hardware, and other essentials to maintain their way of life. These 5 museums, as well as 14 others, help tell the history of the Northern Neck of Virginia.